Hello everyone. Our video will demonstrate the influence of various parameters of land change modeler in IDRISI Selva on model performance for the case study of Plum Island Ecosystems. Here are our major objectives of this project. First, we'd like to simulate the transition potential for land cover between 1985 and 1999 for the study area. We'd like to test the influences of different combinations of driver variables, different transformations of variables, and different transition models on the simulation. Second, we'd like to compare model performance with a 1999 reference land cover map using total operating characteristic and the variations of area under curve of total operating characteristic and relative operating characteristic. If you'd like to know in detail how land change modeler works and how TOC curves are produced, you can contact us or refer to the video of LCM from Clark Labs, the personal website of Dr. Gil Pontius, and the video from another group of our class. We have their links in the end of this video. The study area Plum Island Ecosystems is located in northeastern Massachusetts, covering more than 1,000 square kilometers. This area is dominated by coastal habitats, estuaries, and watersheds of great importance. During the last several decades, it has experienced a rapid suburbanization. So in this project, we'd like to focus on three submodels: built gain from forest, other gain from forest, and built gain from other, because they are the three major changes that have taken place. As we can see in the map and the graph, the areas of these three changes are far more than the area of other to forest or built to other. The four driver variables included are elevation obtained from Aster DM model, distance from built in 1971, land cover map in 1971, and surficial geology data showing soil types distribution in the study area. The two above are continuous data, and the below ones are categorical data, so we need to transform them into continuous ones before importing them into the transition models. Here are the 15 combinations of driver variables that we have tested. Because we included two categorical variables in this analysis, the 21 land cover categories in 1971 and the surficial geology map, we used evidence likelihood to convert these two categorical variables into continuous variables with values showing the probability of pixels from each category that would experience change. Besides the categorical variable, the evidence likelihood transformation requires a Boolean map as another input. This input can be either a Boolean map showing the stock of a gaining category or a Boolean map of areas that have gone through the transition being modeled. In order to test the influences of using different Boolean maps, we tested both of them to do the transformation. Here are the two stock maps. One shows the 1985 built, and other shows the 1985 other. And when using the transition map as the Boolean input, we used three transition maps between 1971 and 1985 according to our three transition submodels. They are forest to built, other to built, and forest to other. To model the transition potentials, we tested the impact of using two different methods, MLP and SimWeight. Standing for multi-layer perception, MLP is a powerful neural network model using a machine learning technique called backpropagation for training the network, and it provides both a measure of accuracy and skill. In contrast to MLP, SimWeight is a similarity-weighted instance-based machine learning algorithm. It calculates membership in the change class based on the proximity of instances within the k-nearest neighbors.
Once we get evidence likelihood maps, we are ready to use transition submodel structure panel in LCM. We need to specify and describe the driver variables for a specific submodel as specified in the transition submodel status panel. Since we are considering three submodels, we add the driver variable combination for one submodel and create a transition potential map for each submodel in turn. As the modal variable combinations are selected and listed, we use either MLP or SIMWeight for modeling each transition in the Run Transition Saw Model panel. We have used the default parameter in LCM for both of these methods. Once we complete the transition potential modeling for all included transitions, we are ready to perform change prediction. The change demand modeling panel helps to find the amount of change that will occur in 1999 using the Markov chain prediction process. Markov chain determines the amount of change using the 1971 and 1985 land cover maps and finds how much land is expected to transition from 1985 to 1999 based on the projection of the transition potentials into the future. It creates the transition probabilities matrix that shows the conditional probability that each land cover category will change to every other category. For example, here in the transition probability matrix, the conditional probability of changing forest to built in 1999 is 0.0763. Once we have the Markov chain matrix, LCM uses it to predict the future scenarios in the change allocation panel. We did not include any optional components in change allocation and set the recalculation stages as 1 for our model run. We get two types of prediction for each model run, which are hard prediction map and soft prediction map. Hard prediction results gives land cover map with the same category as input map and is based on a competitive land allocation model, whereas soft prediction result gives maps that shows the degree to which the area have the right conditions to precipitate change. Once we have the soft prediction map, we use it to compare the model performance with the 1999 reference land cover map using total operating characteristics curve. We use ROC module in IDRISI and gave the soft prediction map as input image and 1985 to 1999 reference change for 3 category as a reference image and non-built in 1985 as a mask. The output text file is then imported to an Excel file prepared by Dr. Gail Pontius to plot total operating characteristic curve. This is the total operating characteristic curve with all 4 variables using the stock of built in 1985 and using MLP method. This plot shows an area under the curve which is 60.9% for this example. We have used area under the curve or AUC for analyzing our model performances.
By constructing box plots, we can see the range of AUC scores produced when different modeling parameters and variables are used. Here we see a comparison between using stock in 1985, or areas of transition between 1971 and 1985, to transform the categorical driver variables to quantitative variables. From the comparison, we see that using the stock performs better in this case study. If we break the model runs down further by whether MLP or SIMWeight was used, we see the results holds for both modeling procedures. The reason for the better performance when using stock in this case likely results from the much larger area available to train the model. A further comparison of AUC scores between all runs using MLP and SIMWeight shows MLP also performed better as a whole. This is the modeling procedure recommended in most cases by IDRISI's documentation, and it resulted in the highest AUC scores for this study. By comparing the 4 driver variables, we see that for MLP, model runs that included distance to built in the 21 land cover categories in 1971 performed better as a whole than those that included the other 2 driver variables of elevation and superficial geology. Distance to built is shown clearly to be the most important variable when modeling using SIMWeight, while the other 3 driver variables showed a similar range of AUC scores produced when included in the model. In conclusion, we found that using stock in 1985 to compute evidence likelihoods from the categorical variables produced a higher area under the curve on average than using the gain between 1971 and 1985. MLP also performed better than SIMWeight for this case study, as evidenced by the higher AUC scores. For MLP, distance to built in the 21 land cover categories in 1971 were more influential than the other 2 driver variables of elevation and superficial geology. For SIMWeight, only distance to built stood out amongst the driver variables, while the other 3 had a similar range of influence on model performance. We would like to thank Clark Labs, who develops the IDRISI image processing software and land change modeler. For more information on acquiring and using these products, go to the link shown here. To watch a video providing more information on ROC and TOC curves, follow the link below. To construct your own ROC and TOC curves from the output of IDRISI's ROC module, follow the link to Dr. Pontius's website and download the appropriate Microsoft Excel file. Thank you for watching our video.